Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome back to the Python modules playlist. Today's module is one of the most fun, the random module. We will cover not just generating random numbers but also picking them, that is picking the items, shuffling items, weighted choices and reproducible randomness. All of these we can do using the random module and let us see how we can do it. So I have created a file random_module.py and we are going to code in this particular file. First, we are going to import the random module. It's part of Python's standard library, so no installation is required. We can say import random. Now the first part is, let us say how to generate random integers. To generate random integers, I can say n is equal to random dot randint, and in this we need to give two values. Our range of numbers between which we want the random integer to be generated. For example, if I give the range as 1, 6 and I start printing the value of n. Let us see what happens when we run the program. So you can see the value is 4. If I run it again, the value is 4 again. If I run it again, it is 2. If I just keep running it, it will be between 1 to 6. The value can be 1 as well as 6 as well. You can see it is included. It's not like 6 is not included. So using the randint function, we can generate random integers. We just need to pass the range of the numbers between which we want the random integer to be generated. What about how can you generate random float numbers or random decimal numbers? So we can say n is equal to random dot uniform. Now again we need to give a range between which we want the number to be generated. So let us say we give the range as 1, 10. And now if we print the value of n, let us see what's the output we get. So the output is 9.89. If I just keep running this, you will always get a value which is between 1 and 10. And the lower bound 1 and the upper bound 10, these both numbers are included. So randomly these numbers can also be generated. Also, there is one more way to create random floating numbers. We can say r is equal to random dot random. No need to pass any argument in this function. This is going to generate a random number, a random float number between the range of 0 to 1. So I can say n comma r. Let us see what's the value we get. Print it and you will see that the value you are getting is between 0 to 1 and it is a decimal or a float number. This is same like you are calling the uniform function with the parameters as 0, 1. If you run this, you will see that both are now generating floating numbers or decimal numbers between the range of 0 to 1. So this is how you can generate random integers and random floats. Now let us say we have a list. We have a list of items. Let us say colors, right? If we have list of colors red, green, blue, yellow and purple, and you want to choose a particular item from your list, you can say random dot choice. This is the function to pick any random item from your list. I just need to pass the list inside the choice function and let's actually print the value and let us see what the output we are getting. So when you run this, you will see the output is blue, which is this item. If you keep running the same program multiple times, you will see the output will keep on changing because it is getting randomly selected, right? You can see it is red, then it is purple. Let's try to run the code again and you will see the value is purple. So any random item can be selected using random.choice and you just need to pass your list. What about a scenario in which you need to choose multiple items? Right now you can see the list has 5 items, right? If you want to choose multiple items, let us say print random.choices and you need to pass your list name and how many items do you want to select. You need to pass it as a second argument and the argument is a keyword argument, so you need to pass the name of the argument which is k equal to 3. So right now what we are trying to do is we are trying to select 3 items from this colors list using the choices function. You can see the difference is with this s. If you use the choice function, you just pass your list. As an output, you are going to get one item. If you use the choices function, then what you're doing is you want to select multiple items from this list and as an output, you will get a list because you are selecting multiple items, right? You need to pass your list name and how many items do you need. Let's run the code and let us see the output. You can see we are able to fetch 3 data. Now you need to understand a very important thing here, that choices function is multiple item selection with replacement. It means that every item which gets selected in your random.choices output, those items are not dependent upon other items which got selected. That is, if you want to select 3 items, the first item got selected was blue. Now it's not like when it will select the second item, it will not consider blue. Blue can again be selected and then you see that yellow got selected. Now for choosing the third item, again it will consider blue, it will consider yellow. Basically it is going to consider the whole list again to select an item, and that is why you can see we have 2 yellows here, right? So it is called random selections with replacement. The same item may appear more than once. Now what if you want to select k equal to 6, that is 6 items from your list. Since you have just 5 items, you will get an output as 6. Now many of you might have thought that this might be an error, but it is not. See, what we need is, we need an output as a list, right? From this particular line, we are saying that randomly select 6 items from this colors array or colors list. So what it will do is, it will create another list of 6 items, and every time it will try to fill one item. It will select one item from the list, it will put it here. Then it will select another item from the list randomly, and then it will put it here. That is, it will select the first item, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, then the sixth. Because we can select one item multiple times, so there will be no error if you are trying to select more than the list length number of items. So that's the random.choice and random.choices for you. Now let us see the weighted random choice. What is this weighted random choice? See, the thing is, when we have multiple items in a list, right, we want to select an item randomly. But what if we want to give some items extra benefit? The probability should be more for a particular item and less for another item. Then you can do it using weighted random choice. Basically, you want to provide a weight to every item in your data, and based on the weight, when the random.choice function will run, it will try to select the item which has more weight. The chances of an item getting selected with a higher weight is more. So initially, every item has same weight. But if you want to provide a custom weight to a particular item, let us say we want yellow to be selected more times, or the chances of yellow getting selected has to be more, then you can use the weighted random choice. What you can do is, you can basically say print random dot choices, right? Let's try to select multiple items from the list. The list is colors, right? And we want to select, let us say, 3 items. Now I want to provide weights to my items. So let us provide the weights as, let us say I want to give green more weight. That is, I want the chances of green to be more for selection as compared to the other items. So I can say for red, the weight has to be 1. For green, the weight has to be 10. For blue, the weight has to be 1. For yellow, the weight has to be 1. And for purple, the weight has to be 1. Now let's run the code, and there are high chances that green will definitely be selected, because the chances of green getting selected is too high as compared to the other items. Now once I run the code, you will see that we have selected 2 greens, right? If I just run the code again, and this time you will see that we have 2 blue, but still we have a green, right? Let's run the code again, and you will see that we have 2 green again. What if I increase the weight of yellow as well? Yellow is the 4th item, so let me increase the weight of yellow. Basically, you need to pass a list, right? And in the list, you will assign the weight of each item. So red is the first item, so the first item in your weight will be the weight of first item red, right? So this is how the weights are assigned. Now if I just try to run the code again, you will see that we have all greens, which is good. Let's try to run it again, and we have green and yellow. You can see that since the weight of green and weight of yellow has been increased too high compared to other items, their chances of getting selected is too high. Now you have 5 items in your list. If you just give 4 items in your weights, let us see what happens. If you will run the code, you will see that you are getting an error that the number of weights does not match the population. Basically, your population is the number of items in the list. Your weights are just 4. The length of the list is 5. The length of your weights is just 4. So basically, you need to provide weight for every item. You cannot skip providing weight for any item. So let's provide the weight of purple as 1. Or if you just increase the number of weights, then let us see what happens. Again, you will get an error. Basically, the length of colors and length of weights has to be same. So let's make it the same length. And now if I run the code, you will see that we are getting green, green, green. Or if I run the code again, you will see yellow, green and blue. Alright, so every time you can see the item with higher weight is definitely getting selected, right? So that is about weighted random choice. Let's now discuss about sampling without replacement. So we have seen random.choices, in which we are able to select multiple items from the list, right? Now once an item gets selected, the chances are the next time it can also get selected, right? That is, one item can be selected multiple times. But what if we do not want this functionality? What if we want selection of an item but just once? So we can use random.sample. So in the random module, we have a function named as sample, and in this we need to pass our list and the number of items we want to be selected, right? Now if I run the code, you will see that the 3 items which got selected will always be unique. We have red, we have green and we have yellow. You will not see items getting repeated. Now in this case, if I try to put the value of k equal to 6, which is more than the number of items we have in colors, then you will see an error. And the reason is, you want to select unique values, right? So you cannot select more the unique values than the number of unique values itself. So this time you should put the value as the length of your colors array or less. So let's put it as 2, and let's try to run the code again, and this time you will see 2 unique items get selected. Now let us see how can you shuffle a particular list. Let us say you have a data. Data is a list, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is your list, a simple list, right? If I want to shuffle the ordering of our data, I can say random.shuffle. This is the function in which I just need to pass the list. Now if I print the data, you will see that the data which gets printed is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It must have been shuffled, and this will look different. So it is 1, 4, 2, 5, 3. If you run this again, this is 3, 2, 5, 1, 4. So the data is getting shuffled, right? Now the next thing which you need to understand is how can you make random results repeatable? Every time when we run the code, you will see that we are getting different data, right? What if every time we want the data to be same? That is, I want the data to be selected randomly, but that random choice should always be the same. So in this case, we need to use something called as seed. Let me do a change in the program at the top. After we import the random module, let's call a function random.seed and let's put the value as 42. Now what will happen every time when you invoke anything from the random module, the data will get selected randomly only, but next time when you run the same program, you will see that the data which gets selected is the same random choice. Let me actually run the code and let me show you that. Now notice that we are getting the output as 32145, right? Now let me clear the console and run the code again. You will see the output is again 32145. If I clear the console and run the code again, you will again see it is 32145. So although we are selecting everything randomly, we are shuffling the data randomly, but when we put random.seed, what we are doing is we are saying that that's the starting point for our random generations. So now whenever you perform any function of the random module, this 42 or any other number, let me put any other number, let me run the code. This time you will see the output is different. It is 4132, it is 45132, but now again it will be 45132, 45132. So basically we are saying that I want to set a particular ID to a particular generation. That is, whenever the random module is used and any functionality of this module is used, if I am putting a seed, it means although you are selecting the data randomly, but every time select the same data. Now this is used heavily in machine learning, so that every time when you are randomly selecting data for training and testing, you are not shuffling those data. The training data selected will be same, the testing data selected will be same. Now let me show you one last thing, one last concept of this particular random module, which is called random.rand range. Now what is this rand range? Basically in this we pass a range, a starting point and ending point. So let us say the starting is 10, the ending is 50, and now you also can pass a step, how many steps you want to take every time when you are moving from your starting point to the ending point. That is, from 10 to 50 we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 up to 50, right? But what if I want 10, 12, 14, 16, 18? That is, I want to take two steps, right? So I need to pass a third argument. Now let me print this, and now you will notice a very important thing. Let me just run the code first. You can see the data is 48. The data will never be odd number. Basically, let me remove this seed, otherwise every time it will be 48. Now if I just try to print it, you will see it is 46, or if I try to print it, you will see it is 30. The reason is I am providing it a range of 10 to 50, but I am saying that take the steps as 2. That is, you have the choices as 10, 12, 14, 16 up to 50. Choose any random out of this. I can also say the step is 3, right? In this case, it will start from 10, then 13, then 16, then 19. So let me rerun the code. You can see the output is 19. Basically, it is 10, then 13, then 16, then 19. These are the available choices you have. The random module randomly selected 19, right? So this is the rand range function. Now let's create a small mini project, a password generator. That is, let us try to generate a password of, let us say, length 12. What I will do is I will actually import strings module. I will say import string. First of all, I will prepare a string s which will have the list of all the characters from which I want my password to be generated. So I can say string dot sky letters, sky underscore letters. Then I can say string dot digits plus string dot punctuation. Now first of all, let me print the value of s. Let me show you what is this s. So let me run the code. You can see the output is this. Basically what we have is, first of all, we have the sky letters which are from A to Z, then uppercase A to Z, right? Then you have string dot digits. So what you have is from 0 to 9, and then you have string dot punctuations. So you have different symbols. I want to create a password which is of length 12, right? I want to create a password randomly, right? What I can do is I can actually use random dot choices, and I can pass the string s, and I can say select any 12 random characters. Now let us print the value of password. Now this is not the complete mini project. We have to do some changes, but let us see what we have as of now. So we are getting a string as an output, and you can see that the string has these characters. Let's actually convert this list into a string. We can say dot join function. We can use the join method. And now let me just run the code again. You can see that this is our randomly generated password. But should we use the choices function or should we use the sample function? We should definitely go for sample function, because choices function can also create a password like a 12 times a, right? I mean, the chances of this is very, very less, but still it is possible, right? Because choices can select the same element again. So instead of that, let us use sample. What this will do is it will not select the same character again. And now let me just run the code again, and you will see a better password. Now this is a randomly generated password. Let me run again. Now this is my randomly generated password. You will not see any character getting repeated. So this is a better choice compared to random dot choices. So we have gone beyond just numbers, guys. Now you know how to pick items, shuffle items, weighted probabilities, weighted selections, and generating random passwords. Next time we will work with the dates and times using the date time module. So that's it for this particular video, guys. If you got to know something from the video, then make sure that you hit that like button. And if you have not subscribed to my channel as of now, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well. I will see you guys in the next video. I want to see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this one, guys.